Why, hello. I've returned.
Hiya!
Why, hello there. I thought of a new bad word to call mon ami. You can already tell I won't be pleased by this. Then let me say this right away. I already used the insults and slander. There's no way I get hurt by a mere word. Mon ami is a serious stufality. Much more straightforward than I expected. Stufality, huh? Stufati. Stufadly. That's not it. That's not it at all. Stupid fat and ugly. Every jet stream attack incorporating all three of these words be ta-da, stufadly.
Huh?
Awawa, that's a fat hidden.
Okay, everyone. All together now. Mon ami is a serious stuffatly.
Hello. I hope your day is well. I'm trying to force myself to be more energetic, or else my mental state won't be able to keep up. Ugh, my heart's thumping like crazy. I might as well have a laid-back, so what attitude and go ahead with high energy. Yeehaw! Ah, but be careful that your batteries don't run out for various reasons. And just like I say each time, don't forget to save frequently.
I never expected the funhouse itself to be the ultimate weapon.
Are you doing an audio check? Had to switch batteries when I came back. Make sure nothing broke in. It's been a good 2 weeks since it's been an issue, so I think we're.
Oh well, let's just press on ahead. Is it really alright to accept a situation so easily? I mean, that's not what's important. The thing that's really important is the killer who used the building structure. Like, who's Mekumaru's murderer?
But is it really okay to believe the building is the weapon? Nagito said it, you know.
There's no way I'd lie at such an important moment. I don't want to die either.
What happened to the bastard who kept saying how much they didn't mind dying?
He's right. There was a time when I thought I could become a stepping stone for your hopes, but I will sincerely retract that remark.
Retract?
I'm disappointed too, you know. If this was a murder for the sake of hope, I'd happily sacrifice myself.
You say such falsehoods, per usual. There is no such thing as murder for the sake of hope. Murder is simply murder. Forcibly sacrificing others for one's own desires. Even one as diabolical as I would avoid such actions.
I see.
It's fine. Let's just leave him alone and find out who killed Coach Nekomaru as fast as we can. Just so you know, it's not like I'm getting hungry or anything, you know.
Akane! You were drooling waterfalls?
Hope. Nagito, as usual, I can't tell what he's thinking. I have no idea if he's serious or not.
Anyway, if the killer used the building structure, why don't we think about how they used it?
How they killed Nekomaru.
It might be better if we clarify the cause of death first, don't you think?
Horribly damaged as if it was beaten senseless with a blunt object. But if it was beaten with a blunt object, it wouldn't be a kill that utilized the building structure. What was Nekomaru's cause of death that also utilized the building structure? You know? I'm leaning more towards still beaten. But I mean, I don't think my logic's still right anymore with the hamsters pressing the button and then as he picks out the. I was timed.
Crap!
Frick, we're gonna go falling.
I see! That's it. I think he might have died from falling.
Died from falling?
If the funhouse's secret is that it's a structure where both towers and houses are vertically connected, then the killer made use of its height and caused Nekomaru to die from falling.
Are you saying they pushed him off? Where'd they push him off from?
That I don't know yet.
Don't just make things up when you don't know the method. Where in that building would you even be able to push someone off in the first place?
It might be possible in the tower. You could push him off the 4th floor when the elevator is on the 1st floor.
Did you forget how the elevator functions? When it's on the 1st floor, the door on the 4th floor won't open.
Saying he died from falling is truly incorrect. You should burn in the flames of hell.
But my gut is going crazy right now.
If Nekomaru died from falling, where did the killer shove Nekomaru from? I'm going to reach the truth behind the incident and just solve the mystery next.
When the elevator is on the 1st floor, you can't go through the door on the 4th floor.
It'd be impossible to shove off the victim from up there.
Then, how about this? After locking Nekomaru inside the elevator, they moved the elevator from the 4th floor to the 1st floor and made use of the drop.
Hold on. Did you forget the elevator has a sensor? As long as there's a
moving object inside.
No, that's wrong!
No, that's right, but he's also wrong.
That sensor should only work if something is moving. If Nekomaru wasn't moving inside, the elevator sensor wouldn't have detected anything.
Could it be his sleep mode?
When Nekomaru's goodnight button is pressed, all of his functions shut down, and he enters sleep mode. If he's in sleep mode, the elevator sensor wouldn't have noticed him, right?
I see. So that's how...
However, even if they moved the elevator in that manner, Nekomaru would have just moved along with it. There would have been no drop for him to fall and die from, yes?
That's what I was about to explain before Kazuichi interrupted me. Silence, pest!
Now you're calling me a pest?
Would he create a drop inside the elevator while Nekomaru is still in it? Shaki seems to have an idea, but what could that be? Make your argument.
If you arrange it a certain way, you can cause the drop within the elevator.
So you're telling us all to think about the arrangement, right?
That arrangement is... The hammer is suspicious.
Isn't it about time we went over the pillar again?
Ah, I got an achievement.
Oil on the floor.
Shot enough stuff.
The doorknob on the floor seems suspicious.
How about we all shut up and listen to what Chiaki has to say?
Silence, pest!
Don't be so cold. What if I start to enjoy it?
Okay, before we got the achievement, I think I know what I'm doing.
If you arrange it, you can cause the drop.
So you're telling us to think about the arrangement.
That arrangement,
The hammer is suspicious.
Isn't it about time we went over the pillar again?
What about the oil on the floor?
The doorknob on the floor seems suspicious.
I agree with that. Didn't the doorknob have scrape marks on it? That might have been where it got scraped by the wire.
Is that the same wire that was tied around Nekomaru?
The tip of that wire was tied into a loop. If the elevator moved while that loop part hung from the doorknob...
If they did something like that, he would have been suspended in midair.
Snapchat.
That's right. He was suspended in midair.
Okay. Well, I got a phone call. Let me just cut real quick. Hello. Alright, my bad, I'm back. Let's continue.
The killer tied up Nekomaru with the wire while he was in sleep mode. Tied the tip of the wire into a knot and hung it on the doorknob to the 4th floor. With that, they moved the elevator from the 4th floor to the 1st floor of Grape Tower. And suspended Nekomaru in midair.
That's right! He was so well hung! Kinda like...
You better not finish that sentence.
The killer took advantage of the elevator's unique feature. Only the floor moves.
Like what?
By doing that, they created a drop so Nekomaru could fall to his death.
Too easy. So what if they created a drop? There's no way you can make him fall and die with just that. Why? If Nekomaru is suspended in midair like that, then how do you get him to fall?
I'm sorry, I'm putting my jacket on.
If he's suspended in midair, he won't die if he doesn't actually fall.
Well, the door opens, he falls, brother. Kinda. Put all shit in.
Even if they suspended Nekomaru from a wire,
I forgot to do
they make
this.
him fall. There's no one in the tower to push him up. There's no way they could do that.
I can't back down!
I must have fixed
Doesn't mean
my...
someone had to push him off.
No, let me have control.
It's possible that he fell on his own.
What? Nekomaru fell on his own?
Where is it? Oh.
Nekomaru should have still been in sleep mode, right?
Okay, no, okay, it was the wrong one anyway. There we go.
Through those words. What do you think would happen if Nekomaru woke up while he was suspended upside down in midair?
What are you saying? Like, how would he even wake up?
He has an alarm inside his body. As long as it was armed, it would have deactivated his sleep mode. Which means the killer set the alarm before they suspended Nekomaru.
If you woke up from an alarm and realized you were hanging upside down and had no clue why... If something like that happened to you, you would start panicking a lot, right? Instinctively, your body would start moving. Nekomaru probably did exactly that.
And then, in order
Is
to
all the
make it
wheel
fall
loaded
the
with that?
force he was generating, the wire was hung on the tip of the doorknob so it would easily slip off. In actuality, the scrape marks caused by the wire were near the tip of the doorknob, right?
No, it's on the center, but okay.
But Nekomaru didn't fall because the wire came off, right?
He fell because the entire doorknob came off.
When Nekomaru awoke, he must have struggled much more than expected, which caused the doorknob to break off.
Was that unexpected for the killer too?
Well, that's probably it. If they knew it'd leave behind evidence like that, they would have at least tried to do something to cover it up.
You didn't expect the doorknob to come off. The reason that even happened was because... In that case, I should use my full power. You... Fierce roar, Nekomaru put all of his power into grabbing the doorknob with both hands. But clatter, 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 clatter. Here comes the incredible strength of 1 million horsepower. Guru... Wait, isn't that creaking? If you break off the doorknob, we'll be stuck in here. That's really what it was. That's the clue Nekomaru left for us to find.
See. So that's how Nekomaru fell to his death.
Do you finally understand now?
Yeah. It appears it's just as Miss Sonia said. I'm just a pest. No, I'm not just a pest. I'm a total fucking pig. Isn't that right, Miss Sonia? If I'm a fucking pig, you can say so.
No, I believe you gave your all.
Hey, why aren't you teasing me anymore?
This guy. He gets off on this! So thanks to that alarm, Nekomaru ended up falling while he was still hanging upside down. That doesn't mean he just crashed straight into the floor. Of course, you know that too, right?
Mm-hmm. The Nekomaru crashed right into the floor.
I see!
I see.
When Nekomaru fell to the floor, he ended up colliding with the pillar. Isn't that it?
Finally, the pillar!
So that's how the pillar shattered, and why oil was spilled
He's
all
sweating
over
buckets,
the
man.
place.
See, I told you the pillar was the weapon. My gut was totally right.
Well, the pillar was a bonus. It's not even clear if the killer intended that, or if it was just a coincidence.
At this point, it is quite difficult to find a clue that will lead to the killer.
Then what about the alarm? I'm positive the alarm was set for 7:30 a.m., and if we map it out from there...
Hold on, baby gangsta.
Stop calling me baby gangsta!
What'd you just say? Did you say the alarm was set for 7:30 a.m.?
You didn't check it yourself? Nekomaru's alarm was set for 7:30 a.m.
Nah, that's impossible. Because even though I slept in a little, I still got to the tower at 7 in the morning.
Now that you mention it, so did I. There was no way I could be late for Monokuma Tai Chi, so I left for Grape Tower before 7 a.m.
And if we found Nekomaru's body there, it would have been before the 7:30 a.m. alarm went off.
It appears yet another contradiction has been birthed. How were you able to discover Nekomaru died at 7:30 a.m. when you went to the tower at 7?
That's what I want to know!
Another mystery I don't understand, seriously, it's just one after another. And shook up at a time like this, just a little more and I'll be able to reach the truth. Will be a clue to breaking through this contradiction. Someone messed with the thinking clocks, yes. It's probably gonna be... radio clock? Give me it.
We headed for Grape Tower.
But I might be ahead of myself
Before
right now.
7 a.m., I am certain.
No, that's wrong. No, frick. This could be it could be any of the clocks.
Crap!
We headed for Grape Tower. Before 7 a.m., I am certain.
But the alarm inside Nekomaru's chest was set for 7:30 a.m.
Nekomaru died because of that alarm, right?
His time of death and the time the body was discovered. One of those must be an illusion.
The killer probably did some tampering. They probably messed with the clock inside Nekomaru's chest.
Okay, maybe
No,
if I
that's
just wait,
wrong.
not jump to conclusions.
No, the clock inside his chest was a radio clock, so it would have been impossible to mess with.
So you're saying there's no way the killer could have tampered with the clock?
Maybe the clock Miss Sonia saw was the one that got tampered with.
The clock inside Grape House?
No, I checked all the clocks inside the funhouse. Oh, that's what I asked you to do. So you really listened to me and checked all the clocks. And because of that, I can confidently declare that all the clocks had the same time displayed.
If there's no possibility that the time was tampered with, then we must doubt that human's testimony.
Please believe me, we are not lying.
Then maybe it's a misunderstanding?
I never misunderstand. I'll crush you into dog food.
The time-related contradiction, I don't think I should doubt the testimonies. I should doubt the clock. No mistake that something was done, but what was it? Have we overlooked something? Maybe we're misunderstanding something. I think if I focus and think, I should be able to find the answer to that mystery. Logic dive. Yes, the clocks were altered. I don't think we really need to do a logic dive for this, but thank you. I was settled with Hangman's Gambit, believe it or not. I'm cutting corners. I don't know what those yellow pads do that don't do the boosties. That's a boosty, yeah. Like, what do you do? Okay, I was like, who the heck is Hajime? I'm losing it, man. I read Harambe. This is Winston. I'm looking forward to Overwatch. Immensely. Nice one. Maybe they give time, actually. Nope. I mean, I know that there's one. I guess it's a checkpoint. Yep, definitely a checkpoint. Gotcha.
It's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
You said you checked all the clocks inside the building. Isn't that right, Fuyuhiko?
Yeah, none of the clocks had the wrong time.
But what if all those clocks have been messed with?
What? All the clocks?
So even if you checked all the clocks inside the building, there's no way you'd have noticed it.
I see. So the killer messed with the time inside the whole building by changing all the clocks. So that's what it was. This is truly fantastic!
Now's not the time to be pleased. More importantly, how much was the time off?
2 hours. That's the main problem. Clarify by how much the time was off. How did the killer mess with the clocks? Definitely the next mystery. I'm going to reach the truth in one go. Make your argument. You saw Nakamura going down the stairs at 5, then he fell off 7 at 5:30.
Then we can only rely on Nekomaru's radio clock.
He got up at 7 at his, with the, he knew at the time.
It's clearly 7:30
a.m.
Yeah, it clearly is 7:30 a.m., but I'm just...
Crap!
me.
If the time in the building was on, then we can only rely.
I saw him go downstairs at 5 o'clock. Okay, then we hit him
Clearly 7:30 a.m.
with the...
The problem is, what time would 7:30 be in our time?
Are there any clues that can be used to narrow that down? If only I heard the sound when he fell.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
That's right. We should have heard the sound he made when he fell. Wasn't it that rumbling noise?
Rumbling?
I thought it was just an earthquake, so I went back to sleep. Was that the sound from when Nekomaru fell?
Well, a huge body fell from the 4th floor to the 1st, and the pillar fell with it. It's obvious we'd hear the impact sound.
We heard that noise too.
It was when we were gathered at the Strawberry House Lounge. What is it, Sonia?
Oh, well. That sound everyone heard? I did not hear it at all.
Huh?
Because you were inside the stinking rich person
You probably
room.
didn't hear it because you were sleeping.
I could not sleep at all. I was awake the whole night with hunger pangs.
There's nothing to worry about. What's important is that rumbling.
Have I
noise.
been like Bon Appetit in this my entire life? It's not hunger pain? It's pangs?
If we use that rumbling sound as a reference, we might be able to figure out how much our time was off.
I heard that sound probably around 5:30 in the morning.
Huh? You can tell?
I instantly woke up and left my room. And that's when I saw the clock in the lounge.
Excellent work, Akane.
My rumbling sound we heard at 5:30 a.m. Likely the answer to how much time? 2 hours.
I see.
Nekomaru's alarm went off at 7:30, and if we heard the sound of his impact at 5:30, that means our time was off by 2 hours.
2 hours? That much?
We were starving pretty badly. There's no way we would have noticed.
Plus,
That's
Funhouse
3
has no window.
days.
And there weren't any Monokuma announcements either.
However, for what reason did the killer
People do that for
alter
fun,
our
man.
perception of time?
The reason is obvious. So they can lure out just Nekomaru.
Around
If
Nekomaru?
you messed with the clocks and used a specific thing, you definitely get Nekomaru to the tower alone, right? From there, the killer's plan was a splendid success. That's all it means.
Besides messing with the time, the killer also used a specific thing. They were trying to lure out Nekomaru, and that would, the specific thing would be the Tai Chai.
I see.
That's it. The killer made use of the Monokuma Tai Chi activity in the morning.
Chi.
How did they use it?
We were required to go to Grape Tower every morning at 7 a.m. for that activity, right? But if they mess with all the clocks inside the building, what would that do to us?
We wouldn't be able to attend on time, but that wouldn't affect Nekomaru. His radio clock had the exact time.
That's right. In doing so, the killer was able to lure him to the tower by himself at the precise time.
Then, when I witnessed Nekomaru early in the morning,
If I recall, you witnessed Nekomaru around 5 a.m. And if that time was also 2 hours off, it should have been 7 a.m. Yeah, that's pretty much it. At that time, he was heading over to Monokuma Tai Chi, right on schedule.
I see. Now that I think about it, I realize what Monokuma meant when he said those words.
Too early. He didn't even ask you yet.
Geez, how outrageous. I didn't expect everyone to ditch Monokuma Tai Chi. Turned out like this after all, so I guess it can't be helped.
When you said everyone, you were including us, right? We thought we came to the tower on time, but in truth, it was way past the meeting time.
Ah, jeez. That's, well, how should I put it? What was it? You know, tripping over a foot or something like that.
Are you talking about tripping over someone else's fault?
Wrong! Too bad.
Liar! I'm right!
That's not it. It's incorrect.
That's definitely
No, it's not,
the right
Mona. You're not
answer.
right.
You always get so stubborn like this.
Let's just ignore the peanut gallery. Now that we've found out how the killer lured Nekomaru, the number of suspects has drastically decreased.
Huh?
Hey, why would that decrease the number of suspects? Don't be a friggin' liar.
You'll know I'm not lying when you listen to what Fuyuhiko's going to say next.
huh? What the hell do you mean?
You witnessed Nekomaru going toward the tower. Did something else happen after that?
Are you talking about that alarm?
Alarm?
A little while after I witnessed Nekomaru, the clock in the Strawberry House lounge started going off. Plus, it was just before that rumbling sound occurred. That's it. So that's what it is. If Nekomaru died when the rumble happened, then whoever doesn't have an alibi at the time is the prime suspect.
No.
Really? Was there anyone who didn't have an alibi at that time?
I remember now. The sound was so loud I couldn't help bolting from my room. But there was one guy who never left the lounge. We were both on the same floor. It's pretty weird that bastard never came out of his guest room.
Which means that person does not have an alibi for when Nekomaru fell?
Who is it? Who's the bastard?
It would be Nagito, but it's not him. Do they want me to select Nagito, or who I think is the killer? Gundam is he's the sole bad boy of Funhouse Town. So I'm not quite sure what you want from me. I don't want to accuse Nagito, but I think they want me to accuse Nagito.
You're the only one! The one who wasn't there. It's you, right, Nagito?
That's right. Nagito wasn't there. It was just me, Gundam.
This bait, he wanted to be seen there because he didn't have to be at the room for the murder.
You didn't come in, even though the alarm was going off like crazy. You weren't in your room, were you?
If that's the case, where were you?
Please, say something!
If you don't hurry up and answer, I'm gonna suicide dive you!
If I may be frank, even if I wanted to go to the lounge, I couldn't.
You couldn't? What do you mean?
It's merely
All beta was already
foolish
sabotaged.
talk of the weak.
Not only did I not hear the alarm, I never even heard that rumbling sound.
He couldn't?
You're definitely fucking lying.
However, that is also true for me. It is obvious that I did not hear the alarm in Strawberry House. But I did not hear the rumbling sound either. Is that not strange?
To be honest, it's not just them. The same goes for me too.
Huh?
I was in a pretty deep sleep.
So none of you read the
I
build
thought
plans.
That's why I couldn't hear it, but it wasn't that. I probably couldn't hear it at all.
Couldn't hear it? What does that mean?
You still don't know. Think about what the three of us who didn't hear a sound have in common, and I'm sure you'll figure it out.
One person who didn't hear the rumbling noise was Nagito, Sonia, and Chiaki. Do you get that points to the killer? I don't know the name of the rooms. I don't remember. It's been 2 days. Deluxe. My E! It's broken! Get out of here. I want to see how big I can get, man.
I got it!
Nagito, Sonia, and Chiaki. The three of you were staying in deluxe rooms, right? If I recall, the deluxe rooms are...
Guess rooms are divided up by quality grade. The deluxe room is soundproof and has excellent air insulation. The inner room has pretty so-so insulation, but it's still pretty decent. The crummy room has severe airflow and draft problems.
The reason we could not hear the rumbling noise.
That's right. It was because the deluxe rooms have superior sound insulation. You actually noticed that. Nice catch, Hajime. Are you using your alternate reserve corps student talent? Now then, you guys must understand by now, right? The true identity of Nekomaru's killer.
Yes.
Hold on a sec. Why does that lead to who the killer is?
Why? Well, that fact just now is a very important clue.
Decisive factor?
Sorry, I got ahead of myself. I feel like I understand what Nagato means. Killer Among Us? Murder Nekomaru?
You're the only one!
You're the only one.
Gundam, there's something I want to ask you. When the alarm rang at the Strawberry House Lounge, you rushed over there too, right?
What's wrong with that? If the bell of catastrophe rings throughout the night, it is the universe's providence to stop it.
Why were you able to hear it?
Hear what?
I mean, you were also staying in a deluxe room, right?
Was he? That I don't
You
remember.
were staying in a deluxe room in the same house on the same floor, and he couldn't even hear it. So why were you able to hear that alarm?
Huh? Now that you mention it...
Gundam?
There is only one possibility. You weren't in your room at the time. That's why, even though you were staying in a deluxe room, you still went to the lounge. Am I right?
Gundam, you have some sort of explanation, right?
Gundam probably couldn't return to his room because of Fuyuhiko.
Me?
After you saw Nekomaru heading to the tower, you stayed at the lounge for a while. Am I correct? Until the moment that alarm started ringing, right? If you were in the lounge for that long, the killer who had left earlier obviously wouldn't be able to go back.
Even though Mekamaru's murder was a death trap that utilized the alarm in his chest, the killer still needed to prepare the murder in advance.
Like putting Nekomaru in sleep mode and tying him up with the wire.
In order to do that, the killer needed to be waiting for Nekomaru at the tower. Which means when Fuyuhiko witnessed Nekomaru, the killer was already at the tower.
And once they tried to go back, they couldn't because Fuyuhiko was at the lounge.
In their original plan, the killer should have returned to their room before the alarm in the lounge went off. And they were supposed to stay in their room. They weren't planning to come out and go to the lounge.
Which means they wouldn't have heard the alarm or the rumbling sound, thus proving they were in the room, just like us.
The best case scenario would have been if those two in the lounge had gone to check the deluxe rooms. After all, if they personally saw the killer sleeping in their room, it gives the killer a stronger alibi. Unfortunately, they failed to secure that alibi.
Because I was in the lounge.
So the killer couldn't go back to their room, and ended up hearing the lounge's alarm.
Hey, what are you doing? Trackerus is louder than the supreme ruler of the netherworld bellowing for a sacrifice. Look at making all that noise so suddenly.
But why'd you come out? You should have hid till the excitement died down.
If Gundam tried to hide, and if those two went to his room to check on him, he would have been found out. That would have been the worst possible outcome. That's why he couldn't just stay hidden.
If those two had just checked the deluxe rooms as planned, that would have been ideal, but how ironic. The moment Fuyuhiko set foot in the lounge, your plan was doomed.
Gundam? Please, can you at least say something?
Answer me this, including myself and my 4 dark devas of destruction. How many ears do we possess?
Huh?
The answer is 10. That's right, I possess 10 ears. That means I have 5 times the hearing of a normal
That's exactly how that works,
The
yes.
soundproof system here may as well not exist.
Is that your argument?
You bastard. Do you understand the situation you're in right now?
Do not panic. The truth shall now commence. At the time, I left my room to go to the bathroom. By coincidence, I heard the alarm. That's right. That's all it was. The world is always so simple.
Are you saying it was just a coincidence? Isn't that timing a little too perfect?
And yet, I'm being suspected by all of you. It seems it was actually horrible timing on my part.
I see. You're still holding out. Well, you don't have to admit it. We're going to decide who the killer is with the majority vote anyway. So, why don't we just go ahead and start voting? It's obvious that Gundam is the killer.
Hold on a sec.
You know, Hajime, this class trial, this killing, it's merely the opening act, you know.
Hey! What do you mean the class trial is just the opening act?
Perhaps I should say, it's just a farce. Just a boring farce. So boring, so stressful. I'm so painfully bored that I might develop stomach ulcers. Seriously, let's just hurry up and finish this before I collapse from poor health.
Nagito, something definitely happened to you, didn't it? At some point during the investigation, your behavior became even weirder. What actually happened? Did you discover something?
Well, let's just leave that fun for later. And finish this opening act already.
Ah, you said opening act again!
Please hold on! We have yet to hear Gundam's rebuttal!
But he's completely shut up. Perhaps he can't argue anymore.
Gundam!
I was simply at a loss for words after being dumbfounded by your pathetic assumption. In fact, I shall deny the very basis. Your assumption has been wrong since the beginning.
Since the beginning?
Based on your assumption, I hung Nekomaru from the 4th floor of the tower and made the floor descend to the 1st floor. From there, after returning to Strawberry House, I was present when the alarm at the lounge went off, correct? Although going to and fro is busy enough as it is, how would I be able to travel between both houses anyway?
I see. The contact elevator was broken.
As I recall, the killer tampered with the Grape House control panel, which shut down the elevator. Plus, the
My
stuffed
brother in
elevator
Christ,
should
you
have
won
been
the
facing the Grape House
the life-defying game.
If so, the human who used the elevator would have left it at Grape House. For these reasons, it's an indisputable fact that the killer destroyed the elevator at Grape House.
And what's wrong with that?
If the elevator was broken at Grape House, he wouldn't be able to return to Strawberry House.
However, I was already at Strawberry House. I was present when the alarm in the lounge started ringing, which means your assumption is clearly wrong.
Are you serious? And here I thought it's already been decided.
Have you learned your lesson, pitiful humans? You cannot overcome this contradiction.
That's wrong. If something is obviously wrong, that's when the contradiction is born. No such thing as contradiction that can be overcome. None of this helped me.
That elevator was the only means of travel between the two houses.
Wrong.
As long as
This
that
suck,
elevator
this
was
suck.
broken, your assumption collapses.
Plus, the elevator was broken at Grape House.
If the killer cannot return to Strawberry House,
Since I was at Strawberry House at that time, there's no question that the following crime is impossible.
It would have been different if they had an accomplice.
Or if there was a secret
Passageway.
How much longer do you plan to lecture me? Why don't we stop this already? That elevator.
You still feel weird to me to do.
Only means of
No, that's wrong.
Good bit, Miranda.
No, there should have been another way to move between the two houses without the elevator.
Such a method does not exist.
Then why don't we ask the person who actually used that method? You're the only one!
But he's not the only one, he's the only
Nagito,
two.
You should know.
What are you talking about?
Don't play dumb. You appeared so suddenly that one time because you used that method, right?
Why are you here? Because I showed up?
There's a secret passage connecting the first floor of Strawberry House to the third floor of Grape House. Isn't that right?
Jeez. Once again, I let the reserve course show off. But you're right. There's a door on the floor of the Octagon, which is on the first floor of Strawberry House. After I opened the door and went down, surprise, surprise! I ended up in the Monokuma Archive, which is on the third floor of Grape House.
Meaning the third floor and the fourth floor are actually connected.
Plus, once you've cleared the final dead room once, you can pass through it as many times as you want.
If they used that secret passage, they could have gone between the two houses as much as they wanted.
Infinity Unlimited Flame! However, what if the killer was unaware of the existence of the final dead room?
My brother, you got
There's no way
the wire.
they didn't know.
That is merely an illusion you have fabricated from your own suspicion.
The yabs. Come here. But don't. Give me one of these. Give me one of those. Give me one of these. Give me one of those. Give me one of these. Lisa toes. There we go. Maybe it won't work. Good? Maybe? I don't know.
If you value your life, you should stop with your scrutiny.
There's no way I can stop.
What did you say? Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
I already proved the secret passage exists. The secret passage was at the Octagon.
Know the limits of your own reasoning. You say the killer went to the Octagon. Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want, at least pray to the key which dwells in the light.
Well, the sneak attack, I didn't see that one.
Reasoning. You say the killer went to the Octagon. Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion.
Allow me to cut through those words! The wire used to string up Nekomaru's body, the hammer that looked like the weapon, and the chain on the door in the tower. Those are all the items that weren't in Funhouse. Where did the killer obtain them?
The only place I can think of is the Octagon. There were various weapons and tools there. I'm pretty sure I saw stuff like wires, hammers, and chains too.
Since those items were used in the crime, there's no doubt that the killer went to the Octagon.
If that's the case, they obviously know about the secret passage too, right?
It seems this is the end. Normally we'd end up listening to Hajime lecture us with a very long summary of the case. But there's no reason to waste any more time on this opening act. So I'm going to end this right now.
Hey, what do you...
First of all, by messing with all the clocks in the building, Gundam tried to lure only Nekomaru. The elevator was probably broken by that point. Thanks to that, Nekomaru wasn't able to go to Grape Tower, which was supposed to be the meetup point. So he tried going over to Strawberry Tower, just like we did when we found out the elevator was broken. Well, it's obvious he'd attempt that. At that time, we didn't know the two towers were the exact same place. Also, the button in Strawberry Hall wasn't broken, so he was easily able to enter Strawberry Tower. But surprise! Gundam was waiting for Nekomaru's arrival.
Hold on. If Nekomaru didn't go to Strawberry Tower, what would the killer have done then?
Their plan was a balancing act of uncertainties, but even if they failed, they probably wouldn't have minded. They can just greet everyone the next morning as if nothing happened, and come up with a different plan.
Okay, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick.
And without such a risky plan, they wouldn't have been able to lure him at all.